Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought that I would do a tag video. This is not going to be going up in time for Tag Tuesday, but I thought that I would go ahead and put it up anyway instead of waiting until next week, do a little classic Tag Wednesday action. So I was tagged doubly actually in the My Reading Evolution tag. Originally I was tagged by Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics, and then yesterday I was tagged by Ryan over at Book Time with Ryan. I will leave a link to both Alan and Ryan's videos in the description down below. Be sure to check them out. Also, if you have not been introduced to Alan yet or to Ryan yet, please be sure to check out their channels as a whole. They both do some really great content and they both deserve your subscription if you have not subscribed to their channels already. So the My Reading Evolution tag is a fairly straightforward one, and it really is just a great vehicle to discuss your reading journey and how you have ended up where you are now in your reading life. So it's a really, really great tag. This was originally created by Spread Book Joy. The original video will also be in the description down below. It's a very short tag. It is a total of 5 prompts, with the 5th prompt being to tag people. So it's a really great, very short tag. So prompt number 1 is what you read. How has your taste in books evolved? So for me, my taste in books as of late has very much evolved into almost solely historical nonfiction. I still read classics. I still read some contemporary fiction, but not as much as I used to do. I am almost completely into historical nonfiction, particularly biographies and memoirs and that sort of thing. I don't want to steal Ollie's phrase there. Question number 2 is how you read. Has the format of your reading changed much? Absolutely. I read almost completely digitally now, and when I first started reading, I read a lot more physical copies. Although, honestly, I have always read digitally, even from the beginning of my reading. One of my first purchases that I got before I even started reading was a Kindle, so I did sort of have an e-reader from the beginning of my reading, but I used to read a lot more physical copies than I do now. I believe that out of the last maybe 15 books that I have read, about 13 of them were ebooks. So I'm definitely shifting more over into the digital space, but I really love reading digitally. I love ebooks. For me personally, the ease of reading an ebook, there's something about it that it really allows me to read faster. It allows me to read more comfortably. It's just an overall better reading experience, and especially for getting out of the house, traveling, being able to have an entire library that just is the size of your e-reader and not to have a bunch of physical books to carry around, really has also sort of increased my reading when I'm not home as well, which has been fantastic. Prompt number 3 is how much you read. Do you read more or less than previously? When do you read? Has how often you read changed? So how much do I read? I definitely read more now than I have ever read in my life before. I try to read around 2 or 3 hours every day. That doesn't always work, especially now that I have a full-time position again. My reading time throughout the day is a lot, clipped down. I do still have, weekends and time before work and after work to fit in reading. So I'm trying to sort of reset my reading goals, but I have certainly read more now than ever before. When do you read? I read all the time when I can. So on the weekends, I read all day long. During the work week, I try to wake up at 6 and get an hour of reading in before I start getting ready to leave for work. And then I try to read on my hour lunch break at work, and then I try to read for at least an hour or so when I get home in the evenings. So I sort of have 3 reading chunks throughout the day. And then the last part of that question was, has how often you read changed? And yes, absolutely. I didn't used to read as much as I read now. I have scheduled reading into my life now, where reading is a very significant portion of my day, whereas it used to be my reading sort of would fit in the cracks whenever I wanted to, and maybe 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, but never sort of a dedicated reading. Whereas now I try to be very dedicated in my reading and have time in my day to read, and sort of schedule in that reading. Prompt number 4, how has Booktube changed you as a reader? Booktube has changed me as a reader in so many incredibly positive ways. The biggest one is introducing me to books that I would probably otherwise never discover on my own, which has been fantastic. Introducing me to genres that I never would have attempted to read on my own, but I sort of have the motivation and the inspiration from other Booktube creators to do so. And then also, I think the biggest way for me that Booktube has changed me as a reader is Booktube has changed my quality of reading. Booktube has helped me to become a better reader, a more critical, analytical reader, just because I know that when I'm done reading a certain book, I sit down here and I turn my camera on and I talk to you about it. And so I want to be able to have more things to say than just, oh, it was good, or it was bad, I liked it, I didn't like it. And sitting down and having reasons why it was good, why I liked it, or why I didn't like it. And particularly with nonfiction, sort of my retention of being able to sit down and absorb everything a lot, in a much more effective way, maybe I should say. And just sort of learning from hearing how other people structure their reading, from even just hearing other people discuss their books and sort of how they, what they take away when they read, has really changed the way that I approach my reading and what I end up taking away from my books as well, which I think is absolutely fantastic, and certainly something that I attribute to Booktube, of just this factor of adding in this extra medium into our reading lives. So we all read, and then we also all film what we're reading about and talk about it to each other. So we have sort of this, not necessarily accountability with each other, but we know that we're going to be filming a video, and so we need to have a decent amount to say about what we read. And so that's changed the way I read, to sort of not reading for the purpose of filming, but reading for a deeper experience, which I think is a really positive thing. And then, so that was the last of the question prompts. And then prompt number 5 is tag some people. I'm going to tag 3 people. I know that this tag has been going around Booktube a little bit, so a lot of people have already done it. So if I tag you, but you've already done this, I do apologize. But I would like to tag Ann Novella, Michael at Michael Romeo Talks Books, and Marta at Marta's Great Library. I would love to see your guys' version of this tag. I think it's really interesting. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.